Hey everybody, it's Miss Fox, and this is the second part of our database introduction. We're going to talk about two different databases today and see how we can use them throughout the classroom and in your upcoming research. So let's begin. The first thing that you're going to do, just like always, is go into your portal. Then you're going to come to NISD Library Services. Yours should look very similar to mine. Once you click on that, be sure to go to the very first section right here, Elementary Digital Resources. Then we're going to come a little further down. We've talked about Britannica, we've talked about EBSCO. Now we're going to look at ProQuest. And so you'll click on that. ProQuest is great because it's going to give you a bunch of magazines and articles. So instead of having the really big books like we did last time with EBSCO, it's going to look a little bit more like Britannica in terms of what you get. Now, the overall picture is going to be different and your screen is going to be very different to Britannica. And we'll talk about that and all of the functionality. But in terms of what kinds of resources you're going to get similar resources to Britannica. Once you get into your ProQuest, you're going to come in and see a page like this. You can see that there are some trending topics right up here. Underneath that are some editor's picks, and these tend to go along with things that are happening in current events. Come a little further down and see that there are more topics here for you to choose from. It will start with broader topics, and then within each of these subsections, it will take you to more narrowed down ones. But because we already know what we're going to be researching, we're going to come to the search bar at the top, and I'm going to type in Oregon Trail. Same thing we've been doing the past day or so. When I do that, I can see that I have 213 results for Oregon Trail. If I look here on the left-hand side, you're going to see that there are a variety of kinds of resources. So like I said, it's similar to Britannica, except that you're getting more resources, more hits, more things that you can look at. You're going to have newspapers, magazines, images, books, web resources, and other things. And then this number tells you how many of each of those you will get. You can filter it by publication date. And like I said, we want to try to make sure that we are using resources that are no older than 10 years old. For example, if we look here, this one was published in 1998. That's pretty old. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add the date that I want to start from. So we're going to do January 1st, 2010. And then we're going to add here today's date. So we're going to do 11/12/2020. I'm going to click apply, and it's going to upload only the resources that fit within that 10-year time frame. You can see that it's gone down to 54 results. However, these 54 results are going to be more accurate than some of the older ones that we have. So if you want to click on a map, you can absolutely do that. You can come on down and see what else there is over here. It will tell you underneath the title what kind of resource it is. So here, this is an image. This one is a magazine article. This is a different resource, different resource. So find the kind that you want and read that. This one is a newspaper. Let's go on back to this Oregon Fever, the magazine article. It was published in 2019. So I'm going to click on Oregon Fever. I'm going to let it load. And when it does, this page does look very different than Britannica did. You're going to have the title and all the publication information here at the top. You will have an option to have the article read to you. So if you are someone with dyslexia or someone who just struggles with reading, that might be a good option. If you come on down a little bit, you're going to see a summary of the article, and then it will actually start with the article for you. Within this article, you can see that there are images. Here we have a map of the Oregon Trail. And you can just go on down, read it, take your notes as you need to. When I come back to the top, there are going to be a couple of different options that we can do. So let's say that we are reading, we run out of time, and we want to save this for later. Or maybe we just think it's a really great article and we need it to come back later. All you're going to do is save it to your cloud. This is how you're going to save it to your Google Drive. You will click here. You're going to pick Google Drive. Let it load, and then this will pop up. This little green will show me that we have successfully done that. Now I'm going to exit out of this by clicking on the X, come back to my drive. Sure enough, you can see that it is right here. So let's go back to the original article. One of the things that we have been talking to you guys about and really stressing is the importance of citing your work. So to cite this source and make sure you're giving the author full credit, you're going to click here on Cite. It will then pull it up. You're going to make sure it is an MLA. You can see here that there are some other ones, but we want to do the MLA 8. All you'll do is click on Copy, click on this X, go right back to your Google Drive. You can do a search for Works Cited or whatever you titled yours. I can see mine is right here, so I'm going to click on that. It will open the document up. I'm going to come to the bottom, push Enter 2 times, just to make sure there's enough space. Right click it, paste, and now I have my new one. Now, remember that we want to make sure that this is in alphabetical order. So I'm going to take Oregon Fever, and I'm actually going to move it, if we're doing correct alphabetical order, I'm going to cut it, and it's going to go at the very beginning. So I'm going to come back in and paste it here. Because these two symbols, these quotation marks, are the exact same. The word Oregon is the exact same. So we don't see the difference until right here with the T in trail and the F in fever. And F comes before T, which means that this citation comes before this one right here. And again, you want to make sure that it is the same font, same size. So just to be sure, I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to click my font, make sure that it's all on Arial, and make sure it's a font size 12, which it already is, so we are good to go. One of the cool things about ProQuest is that right here on the right-hand side, it's going to give you some related documents. It's taking the original search term that you put in and thinking, what could this person use? What would this person like to read? And it's going to give you some related documents here. You can click on See More Related Documents to get a further list of them. But again, I would caution you, be careful because some of them might just be a little too old for your research and some of them might not work. That was a magazine article. That's what we just looked at. Let's look and see at some of the images available. So I'm going to go with this one right here, this very first one. It's a map, and when I open it up, it's going to have a picture of a map. Same exact thing. You can cite it. You actually should be citing it, so make sure you're doing that. But you can also send it to your Google Drive. So if by any chance you want to add this image into something later on or make reference to it, that means you're talking about it, then you need to go ahead and save it so you have it there and you can come back to it. We looked at magazines. Newspapers are going to look very similar to the magazine, so I'm not going to spend time there. We looked at an image. Let's go ahead and look at the book. So if I click on the books available, there will be 4. And again, these should be full books. Some of them will have the PDF available, like these first 2. Some of them will not. And so this is where it tells me that it has the PDF available. That means that you can download that book and save it and read it at a different time. Let's say that I want to look at this very first one. When you open it up, it's not going to look the way it does in EBSCO ebooks. It's going to look a little different. So it's going to be a lot more words, and it's going to look like the newspaper article or the magazine article that we previously saw with this database. So just be careful. This might not be the best place for you to look at nonfiction books. Definitely is a resource that you can use, but if it was me, I would probably use the EBSCO just because their ebooks are a little better formatted for us to view online. So I'm going to exit with the books, get rid of that, and a web resource. When you click on that, that is going to take you to a link outside of this data. Click on the first one. It's going to take me to the Digital Public Library of America. And again, like I've said, all of these resources, all of these articles have already been tested and evaluated by NISD librarians and other librarians throughout the state to make sure that it is true, correct, factual information. This is an entire webpage devoted to colonialism, and you can go on down and read a little bit more, okay? This one is really great because to cite it, it tells you right here, cite this exhibit. And so you would just copy and paste all of this and put it into your Google Doc. Okay. I went ahead and clicked on the other sources because it had 19. So if you do that, some of these things are going to be like Time for Kids or Social Studies for Kids, where it's going to break it down for you a little bit better than what some of the newspaper articles and magazine articles might do. So I'm going to come up here. Let's just look at this very first one really quickly to show you an example. And when I do, it's going to pop up. Now you can see what they've done here is this is the same image that we saw earlier when we looked at images. So you're going to get a couple of that because what this database does is it separates the images in case you just want to look at the image from the actual article. That's the ProQuest database that we have with Northside. That is a database that you're going to have available for you when you move on to middle school and high school. So it's a really great idea for you to get accustomed to using it now that you're in elementary school. All right, so let's talk about the fourth and final database that you guys can use. It's called Gale, and Gale database is definitely one that you are going to continue to see throughout your education. So let's dive right in. Once again, to access it, you will come straight to NISD Library Services within your portal. You'll click on that, then go to the Elementary Digital Resources tab. From there, it's a little different because Gale is not in this column. It's going to be right over here in the third row, the final column. So we're going to click on Gale in Context. This is the one that we're going to focus on. So we're going to click on this right here. And this page looks even more different than the others before. You can see this database looks quite different than the others we've already talked about. So along the top, you have a ribbon with topics, some news, some pictures, and some videos. So that kind of gives you an idea of how they're going to break up the information. We have topics chosen here, and if we look a little further down, you're going to see that it will give you some ideas of different kinds of topics you can investigate. When you click on the News tab, it's going to pull up all of the current events that just recently happened in hopes that you will keep up with the news. In addition to that, it's going to have some fun facts for whatever month you happen to be in. The picture section is going to pull up some pictures that they think you might be interested in looking at. And the video section is just like it says, it's going to have a section full of videos. Now, remember that these videos are all educational videos, so you're not going to find something like TikTok on here. But let's go back and I'm going to do my research. So I'm going to start here with the search bar and I'm just going to type in my topic, Oregon Trail, and push enter. When I do, I'm going to see that it's broken up again. So I'm going to have book articles, pictures, news, magazines, and biographies. And so for the biography section, it will be people who were either important to the Oregon Trail or maybe did something really big when they were doing it or were involved with it, something like that. Here are the different ways that you can filter your results. So again, you may want to filter it by publication date. Talk to your teacher. If they're going by the 10-year rule, then this is definitely something you're going to want to do. As you come on down, you can see that each type of resource has been gathered within its own section. So let's just start at the very top and check out the book articles. This one was written in 2015, so that fits within our 10-year rule. It's going to tell us our reading level right here. Again, it's going to give us the option to listen and have the article read to us. It's also going to have a section that you can make the text smaller or bigger if you so choose. This is if you want to translate it. We're not going to worry about that a whole lot. And then if you want some article information, you come here. This is what the article looks like. It will have images if images are available for it. You can see this is the same image that we had in the Britannica database. You look right here, it even tells you that it's referencing the Britannica. So that's one way that we can validate this information and ensure that they're all giving the same correct information. At the very bottom, you will find your citation. So you can click select, copy and paste, and put it in your Google Drive document. Or if I come all the way back to the top, I can see that right here I have a cite button. I can click that cite button and same thing. It will pull up my citation, copy and paste, and then put it in your document. If I want to send this entire document to my G Drive, I'm going to click send to Google Drive, and then the computer will ask you to verify that this is the right email address and you are the right person. You're going to allow it just like you would with all of the other databases, and the article will be sent straight to your G drive. And so if I look and I refresh, sure enough, the very first one is the same one we did. Another option that you can do is you can download it, you can print it, you can get the link for it. One of the cool things about Gale is that you can highlight and make notes. So if I come over here, let's just say that I want to highlight, I don't know, this section. Okay, I can highlight it all with my mouse, pick a color, any color, doesn't matter. And then I can add notes and I can say, this is important, and save. And now when that article pops up or gets sent to your G drive, that note will be in there. If perhaps there is a word that you don't understand, like maybe you don't know what this word pioneers is, you can highlight it, click define, and it will give you the dictionary definition for what a pioneer is. So there are some really great stuff that you can do with the Gale database. It's just going to depend on how you guys choose to use it. But let's go back and look at a couple of the other resources that we were able to pull up. That's what the book article looks like. Here's the news. So I'm just going to come with this one, the very first one. And it's going to look like this. Like I said, if there are images available, then you'll be able to do that. If it's from an online resource, you're going to have that link on there somewhere. The citation will be there. And again, you can also get the citation right up here. Let's look at a magazine one. So I'm going to click on Remembering the Oregon Trail. Come a little further down. You can see you have all the same functionality over here that you did before. And it looks very similar to the others. Again, because this is an online resource, you're going to have the link right here. So I'm going to come back one more time. And let's take a look at the biographies. So I'm going to click on this very first one. And like I said, you can see right here, it tells us why he's important, and it kind of brings up what he has to do with the Oregon Trail. The last section will be the pictures. So again, if I click on it, it's going to pull up the picture, the image, and this is the same one that we saw in the Britannica database as well. And your citation is right there. So those were our last two databases. We talked today about ProQuest and we talked about Gale. Like I said before, if you guys need help with any of this, just let me know. That's what I'm here for. As you can see, there are tons of resources for you to use. Those are the 4 big ones that you're going to use, especially since you're going to do a lot of online research. I know that you guys are used to doing your research here in the library with actual physical books, but because of all of the germs running around, we're doing it this way this year. And to be quite honest with you, the older you get, the more your research will be done online. So this is a great way to kind of start building those skills and learning how to do your research online with the help of myself and your teacher. I hope that helps. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.